Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Squirrelific Park. It's true. She is too large for the set. Uh-oh. Hammond, I decided not to endorse your park. So have I.
On the table today at SquirrelStampede, I am still working on building up my Jurassic Park Jurassic World Hammond Collection of fancier dinosaurs. I've just recently found the Carnotaurus on shelf, and also I've got to catch up with the giant, immensive-sized Brachiosaurus, so two very nice, large-scale Hammond Collection fancier dinosaurs to take a look at. Also looking at some Epic Evolution polls that I found recently most interesting, so we'll take a look at that. So follow along as we look at some very highly detailed, interesting dinosaurs from Mattel.
SquirrelStampede!
Please like,
Share! And Squirrel Live!
The Carnotaurus now in the Hammond Collection, one of my more favorites of dinosaur. And I'll be biased, probably the best looking Hammond Collection dinosaur in pack. I want to say that this one maybe has been out for a little longer than just now. I think I just kind of missed its release, but I'm seeing it flood the shelves more lately. So maybe it's just a staggered release of some sort. Alright guys, what is your plan on getting this Carnotaurus out of pack?
we're gonna wedge some palm leaves inside the box and slowly ease her out.
Oh no, she's free!
Okay, maybe I will help you guys out by just simply cutting down the tape off the side of the box. And welcome to Carnotaurus Park. She's even more photogenic now appearing from box. It must just be this classic deep reddish brown they used. It's one of the all-star colors of Jurassic Park dinosaurs. And maybe it reminds me of bacon. Everyone likes bacon. I think I almost have a foot on this. There we go. They said engine perfected dinosaur cloning, I say Hammond perfected tail installations. And there she is, out of pack. Don't get too close, Landry.
Don't worry, the palm leaves will protect me.
And I'll need to get another Landry. Well, it's another Hammond Zor on the table, and this one doesn't disappoint once again with the choice of amber eyes. I like to call them a little bit of a glowy real-life eye look to them. Only the T-Rex, I believe I've seen that before used. You gotta be a pretty large dinosaur to pull that off. She has that oh-so-classic red and black color scheme from the Kenner days. She'd pair really well up with the red T-Rex. She's looking smooth yet spiky. Carnotaurian in design. What are we tracking for dimensions here? She is running about almost 17 inches in length and about 6.5 at hip height, maybe 7 or 8 at head height, depending on how you're gonna stand her. Articulations! She has a good double opening jaw, hinged both head and jaw. Oh, there's Landry. We've got a couple neck points here, a midsection that works pretty well, a base section that doesn't really do much. It's all about the stumpy Carnotaurus's high 4 fingers. I love these, one of my favorite parts. More like 3 fingers than a thumb? What's going on there? Hinged up top for some rotation and hinged at the elbow. Hips are looking good. Careful where you point that cattle prod. Yeah, you gotta be careful back there. And so we have movement at the upper hip. These usually move in and out. The knee joint, which is moving pretty well. Then the secondary backwards knee joint is moving okay. Or maybe that's the ankle and then down to the foot. And finally tail, one at the top and one at the base midsection, moving pretty well. So plenty of points to move at. Certainly in good shape for lots of positioning. And I will repeat 100 times how photogenic she is. Especially those deep, beautiful eyes that reflect light from various angles. So lifelike, so lifelike. You know, it's funny, I would like to do a side-by-side to show the extra detail that the Hammond Collection employs, but you know what, even with the previous, I can't remember which version, this might be a Camp Cretaceous Carnotaurus, I think so with the scrape on her nose. Mattel really has always done really extra detail on their Carnosaurs, I swear, they're always really good looking, so it's hard to say that, look, this Hammond is better than previous versions. I guess maybe when you have an action feature, locked into it, it kind of takes away from certain elements, like this one's mouth is always open. And of course, less articulation in the legs, but visually, she's really striking. I saw it recently. I passed and I failed. I should have picked up, there was a clearance Carnotaurus from last year, I think, and I missed it. I should have picked it up. Oh, Hammond, are you okay? Here, I'll help you out with that. So there's been many lovely Carnotauruses delivered from Mattel over the years. This one's spot on awesome because it's Hammond. So now that we have a Carno showing on the table, what's the deal with this Ekrixinatosaurus? Did I even get that correct? It looks very Carnotaurian, doesn't it? Especially at the hands and the head. A Wild Roar Epic Evolution figure with those fancy dials on its back. Of course, we have the scan tool to know more, but I'd certainly like it if these backup boxes would kind of give us a quick little bio. So let's get this Ekrixinatosaurus out of pack. The Ekrixinatosaurus, explosion-born reptile, an abelizord theropod, living approximately 100 to 97 million years ago. And yes, certainly picking up some of the same characteristics of a Carnotaurus. Boxy, spiky-backed, and tiny flangy hands.
Hey girl, I love your tiny hands.
You do? Thank you very much.
High four.
Thanks to the technology Mattel has deployed, we are able to hear her scream again. I like how you can kind of give like a downward growl and an upward growl. That's working really well. A little more simplistic in articulation compared to a Hammond Collection Dinosaur. The head is obviously featured in with the action feature. We have one hinge up at the upper shoulder. Back, hips are doing some things, nothing really involved with the rest of the leg. And a tail that is posted in and does rotate but looks funny when doing so. Paintwork, so-so. They give her a signature look of a dark gray head sculpt here. I don't even know if they got her eye. We have some blue, gray-blue striping going down her back, otherwise gray body, tan under chin. It's a shame following a Hammond Zor because she looks rather plain. That eye is just so boring, but for a action toy, it's kind of fun. Wish they could have painted her nails too, but they did give her that kind of like marbly granite skin tone in there. I see some spotting. Oh, look at this. I hate it when this happens. This eye, we have some paint. It's kind of a lesson to be learned not to hold an Ekrixinatosaurus like this because she's biting my finger, but also the lesson, look at the box to make sure the eye is painted. This side is painted really well. This side got forgotten. I've had that quality issue before, so one eye is painted really well, that's her good side, and then this side not so good. Certainly fun to see. What does the app scanner tell us about her? Gots to know what's the technical details of the Ekrixinatosaurus. Oh, she's mad. She's mad. Kinda hard to see her up in the misty mountains of Argentina, I believe. Wow. And she doesn't want to shut up either. As for information, there she is, next to the size of a fellow, so maybe just a little larger in the life of real versus the life of figuring. Diet of meat, the weight of 3 cows, and there we go, Argentina, land. So a real fun one to look for. I think she's been on shelf for a few months. I just recently found this one though. I also just recently found this one. Oh great, it escaped the Gryposuchus. The Gryposuchus. Oh, here she comes now being wrangled by Muldoon. Look at Muldoon go. So Muldoon is one of Jurassic Park's chief dinosaur wranglers. He has years of experience wrangling these guys. So look how he's helping us out, showing off the Gryposuchus on the table, and it now calmed down pretty well. The Gryposuchus. I was immediately friends with this one when found on shelf. She's got this great midnight blue body, along with this bright orange salmon color belly. She's got a fantastic dial-controlled chomp. Look at this. Look at the leverage on this. Once again, Mattel has gone through time to record the actual sounds and gurgles of a Gryposuchus. And with these very nice Epic Evolution control knobs, you can keep and control where the mouth jaw lies. I love the ratcheting work on these. Articulation for the rest is going to be very limited because we're a hunched down gator. We've got Or was that crocodilian? We've got movement at their hips and shoulders. There's a little bit of reach out on this one actually. And tail rotation. But when you're low to the ground like this, it's often hard to get a lot of articulation. But what a favorite. What a favorite. What does her scan code tell us? That's going to be interesting. A very animated Gryposuchus. I wish we had pronunciation help with this. It would help. Certainly, we're in the swamp, a tree forested swamp as we rotate around. And some quick fun factoids. This would be more accurate for action figure form. Right there with the figure would be about the same. Diet of fish, weight of a car, and back down to South America. And one more epic evolution we can share before we head on over to the Brachiosaurus of Hammond, the Hesperosaurus. Did I get that correct? Hesperosaurus, western lizard. Almost sounds like asparagus, but more like Hesperosaurus. A herbivorous and obviously a stegosaurian dinosaur type from approximately 156 million years ago. I like to see some variation on stegosauruses, so this one is fun to see. Back of the pack. She's got rampage attack with a dial hidden behind those plates, so it'll be fun to activate. Let's get her out. She could probably use her own plates to cut herself out of pack. And I think we need to find a tail. There it is, back to the tail cloning installation facility. Guys, stop drooling. She's not for eats. So the Hesperosaurus on the table. What a fun looking stegosaurus. I was saying earlier on some video, I'm always shocked and surprised how long the back legs of a stegosaurus can be. I always draw them very stumpy, and here they go all the way up the back. Really terrific stance. And a good color tone too. A nice sage green, forest sage green, lighter plates on top. And a hidden dial right up here. I found the dial. Oh, we're gonna get a tail whip action. That's what it is. For the rampage attack, and I like the use of the spikes pointing a certain direction for that attack. You could really whack down an attacking carnivore. Articulated up at the shoulders with pins that rotate, hips, but nothing really else throughout. Obviously the action features in the tail, and the head's pretty static. So she's kind of a giant hunk of plastic, but a good looking hunk of plastic. And they did a little bit better with their paint job on her, I think, even though there's not much to do. We've got a little splotching of gray on her belly and her eye. We see her eyes on both sides, so we got points for that. What do we have for the scan code? Where is it? It's got to be hidden somewhere inside these plates. I do not see the location of her scan code. It's possibly going to be hidden in one of these plates. Oh, there it is. Oh, ow. Oh, she's already battering up the camera with that back tail. A little smaller than a normal stegosaurian, the Hesperosaurus is, but very stegosaurus nonetheless. And information to follow about the scale of the figure pretty well. I think they matched that pretty well. Maybe just a little bit smaller than the figure. And diet of cabbage, weight of 2 cars, found in North America. Oh, that's right. We also took a look at earlier in the year a Stegosaurus somewhere in there. Did I even pronounce that right? A little bit smaller even. It's so dark and shady in here. Even smaller than the Hesperosaurus. Love the helpful app. I wish they would add a few more details like they did before. I'm curious. Let's do a quick side-by-side with a Stegosaurus next to the Hesperosaurus. So Hammond lumbering out here with a Stegosaurus here from some sort of series. I like it that it's color comboing green with our Hesperosaurus. So you certainly can see the Hesperosaurus a little bit smaller, a little more infantile in its looks. Her body shape a little more slender, a little less boxy. Feels like a longer leg span maybe, and a longer neck span. And her plates on her back are a little more rounded down in this version. These two together I think will stand really well in a display. Not sure if they're from the same era. I'll have to look that up again. But they really look kind of nice together, especially the green tones on each of them. Thanks Hammond for stopping by. Spared no expense. So that's a good grouping catch-up of some of the epic evolutions. All 3 of them very radically different. You know, you got the herbivore in the middle, you got a succus gator croc down below, and then you've got a Carnotaurian variant up here to join along with our Hammond Carno. But now we have one more surprise, something I've been holding on for forever and I have to finally get out of pack, and that is, of course, the Giant Zor Brachiosaur 30th anniversary Hammond Collection. So we've seen a Brachiosaurus before on the table, but this is Hammond Collection, so a lot more articulation installed on this thing. As multiple positions are shown here, and a great length of 43 inches in length and 27 inches in height. So enormous, just like the super colossal Brachiosaurus from before. Let's somehow roll her out of package, please. And what is this? Pride Rock? Some assembly required. Let's roll in a little farther. Alright, and oh my table is not set up for this one today. It is enormous. Yeah, that's what happens when it just goes all the way up to the sky. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Certainly another ginormous Brachiosaurus dinosaur. So she seems really close in scale to what we had looked at previously a few years back at a giant-sized Brachio, only this one a little higher in detail. I see that the neck is using a softer plastic, gives it more realism. The head has certainly more of a realistic feel, opening and closing jaw with this one, moving around with the neck ability. Got that Hammond Collection quality to it. And then of course down to the legs, a lot more articulation than before, up at the shoulders, then down to the knees with rotation and hinges, and even down to the ankles on all four there. So you can get this one theoretically standing on its back legs trying to get to a branch on a tree opening sequence of Jurassic Park if you wanted to. So absolutely enormous. It's probably why I've been waiting so long, because my table never holds this scale of Zor very well. I mean, look at this. It's just going up, and up, and up, and up, and up. So she's pretty much impossible to share on the table because of her size and weight. She's actually pretty heavy. The extra rubber material they use for the high detail Hammond figures comes on out in extra weight. But we can try our best to do a quick comparison with the first Brachiosaurus here. That was out a few years back before Hammond, and there we call her Fred, which isn't very feminine, but Fred is here. A little bit darker, less articulated legs, but pretty much in the same scale. And you'll notice there's different detailing, like the skin on this one likes to hang down vertically, kind of following the rib pattern, whereas the skin on this one kind of falls down in arches. So there's some interesting differences in the sculpt. It's brand new sculpting, just with some extra articulation in these fantastic legs, which probably are really, really tight right now. I can't even get this one to bend yet. We should be able to bend this knee like so. This knee's gonna need some cracking. Looking at these two together though, they're absolutely enormous in scale. Look at them running at the camera here. Hammond obviously has a little more detail in the head too than we saw with the previous, but there's still quite a bit of detail in that previous. But finally getting out Hammond. Oh, it's a workout. My arms are getting really tired. Whew. Ooh, and she even has the eye sparkle. But yeah, if you're into collecting the Hammond Collection and want to get a full dinosaur set, you gotta look for this one. Just scaling to what we showed today is just amazing.
And there we go with Hammond Collection, Brachiosaurus, and Carnotaurus. Both super lovely to add into a Finer Things dinosaur collection. What do you think? If you liked today's video, please give us a squike, squirrelive, squam your favorite Hammond Collection dinosaur of Jurassic Park, Jurassic World fame. Thank you so much for watching. That's what I have to say about that.
Before